Hello everyone, it's Tisha Dolton, the suffrage singer here. I hope everyone's 2021 is starting out okay. I thought I would share with you a few items, suffrage related items, that I recently purchased at the end of last year. I'm waiting until now to kind of show them to you because I'm very excited that my Edwardian shoes that I've been eagerly awaiting, they were basically my Christmas present to myself, have finally arrived. So I will share those with you as well. But let's start off with a song. This is one of my favorites to sing. The lyrics were published in 1912, and it is called Bring It to Pass in the Year, and it's set to the tune of My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean. For suffrage from ocean to ocean, for suffrage from mountain to shore, fair women are all in commotion, and men Uyghurs with them galore. One pull, a strong pull, bring the ballot so near, another pull, together pull, and bring it to pass in the year. Last night as we listened and waited, a message came over the sea. It wished us good luck and it started, our sisters in China are free. One pull, a strong pull, bring the ballot so near, another pull, together pull, and bring it to pass in the year. The voice of the people has spoken, 'tis borne by the wind or the sea. To loyal hearts wafting the token, the presage of near victory. One pull, a strong pull, bring the ballot so near, another pull, together pull, and bring it to pass in the year. Now you may have noticed quickly in verse 2, it mentions our sisters in China are free. I have to do a little more research on that. I'm not overly familiar with Chinese history, but I did quickly do a little search, and there was a Chinese Revolution in 1911, and for a brief time women were granted equal voting rights with men, and that was quickly not the case, but there was a quick time in there in 1911, 1912, where women in China were getting equal political rights. And once I do a little bit more research, if anybody knows any more about that, please feel free to comment below. But it will be something that I will delve into in the near future. Just need to try to find some sources for that other than Wikipedia. So I do have some interesting things, and a lot of these things are still available, so I will put links to any of the websites in the description below. First off, to go with my other two Suffrage Centennial Ornaments, one from the National Archives, which came out a couple of years ago. I think I got it in 2016 when I went with my sister to Washington, D.C. The National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution put out a suffrage ornament as well. But this one is lovely. It's actually from Seneca Falls. And it's the website is senecafalls2020.com. It looks like you can still get them, but it is a really nice commemorative ornament. And this one is the Women's Party's colors of yellow and purple, whereas my other two ornaments are gold still, but they are red and blue. More nationally recognized, as opposed to more patriotic colors, as opposed to the National Women's Party's colors. So that's really nice, and it looks like it's still available, but again, I'll put that description below. And then if any of you get my newsletter, you'll know that I've been following this art, public art, Suffrage Centennial what do you call it? Public art installation called Her Flag. And Maryland artists, an Oklahoma artist, put out a call for women from the 36 different states that ratified the 19th Amendment to make it law. And women from all over the country applied, and she publicly, until COVID shut her down in 2020, but she did a bunch of these in 2019 as well. My mother and I went to see her in New Hampshire when she sewed on the New Hampshire stripe. But she had these printed up based on the women's artwork that were submitted, and then went to each state and sewed them on this huge outdoor flag. It was at the Clinton Presidential Library late last year. And it was supposed to be hung up in DC. There was situations with the Capitol and just before the inauguration of Biden and Harris. So I'm not sure if it got hung in Washington this January or not, but I ordered a print of the flag, which is still available up on her Etsy shop, and you can visit her website, which is herflag.com, and see all the other flags that she has done over the years, and but definitely look at the 19th Amendment flag that was created by women all over the country. Another artist that I really like is Karen Hallian, and she does a bunch of really interesting things. When she was commissioned by, I believe it was the National Women's History Museum that has finally got approval for Washington, D.C. I've been working on that for quite a few years, and I've been following that for at least 10 years, if not 15 or 20. And so she created, in her She series, she created one for suffragists. And she does a lot of popular culture kind of things. So when I saw, but she has been doing more real life women and real life men. But when I saw the suffrage one, I just had to have it. So this is the Suffrage Poster, and it's quite nice because it covers quite a few people, and some that you might not know. There's Jane Addams, Susan B. Anthony, Mary McLeod Bethune, Mary Louise Bottineau Baldwin, Lucy Burns, Nanny Helen Burroughs, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Carrie Chapman Catt, Mary Church Terrell, Frances Harper, Inez Mulholland, Lucretia Mott, Adelino Otero Warren, Alice Paul, Mabel Pingwa Lee, Jeanette Rankin, Mary Ann Shad Carey, Anna Howard Shaw, Lucy Stone, Josephine St. Pierre Ruffin, Mary Talbert, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, Elva Vanderbilt Belmont, Ida B. Wells, and Zitka Lassa. And it was really nice because she went out of her way to make sure that all the different factions of the suffrage movement were represented, and quite a few women of color, including 2 Native Americans, at least 1 Hispanic, 1 Chinese woman, Mabel Pingwa Lee, who was part of my Suffrage Tea Cozy project. A couple of others are on here too. Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, Susan B. Anthony, Inez Mulholland are part of that exhibit as well. and quite a few of the African-American suffragists, Ida B. Wells being one of my favorites, as well as Frances Harper. So that's really nice. You get to see that it's not just a bunch of white women on the poster. A couple other things is there's a puzzle out there for those of you who love puzzles and games. It is called the Votes for Women puzzle, and you can get it at a couple of different websites. One is the SyracuseCulturalWorkers.com website. They have it for sale there, but it's a lovely, I haven't tried to put it together yet. I was thinking that I'd get a couple of friends together and maybe we could put it together one night while we're having some tea or some wine or something. But it has quite a few women on here. We have Inez Mulholland on horseback here in the middle. And Frederick Douglass is on here, as I think he is the only man. And the Grimke sisters are on here. There is Hester Jeffrey. She's part of my Suffrage Tea Cozy project. Lucy Stone is on here as well. And Matilda Jocelyn Gage made an appearance, which is great. She's actually one of the next suffragists I'm going to be embroidering. Abigail Scott Duniway was really influential in the western states, particularly Oregon, where she lived. Alice Stone Blackwell, Lucy Stone's daughter. And you know, a bunch of other women. So it's a 500 piece puzzle, so it'll be interesting to get that put together. It does say that it was created by a woman-owned business. Looks like Ebu. It's made with 90% recycled gray board and vegetable-based inks. So for those of you who are environmentally conscious and vegetarian and vegan, that's a nice piece. And then tea, very important part of the suffrage movement, hence why I made tea cozies. And so the company Oliver Puff and Company, they created a commemorative tea tin, and so I ordered that, and it is based on the 1913 parade in Washington, and the pageant that followed right before, the day before the Woodrow Wilson's inauguration in March of 1913. Inez, that's the parade where Inez Mulholland led the parade on the white horse. And so it is based on that program from the parade and pageant in 1913. And it gives a little bit of history about the ratification of the amendment. And it does credit program cover from the March 3rd, 1913 suffrage march, where 5,000 women protested for the right to vote. And this is an English breakfast, black tea, which is my favorite, but I know some people don't like the caffeine in there. And then finally, the thing I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for is the shoes that I ordered, the Edwardian shoes. And I have been following American Duchess for a long time, and I finally was able to convince myself to order a pair of their shoes, mainly because they did a collaboration with Bernadette Banner, who is YouTuber that I follow who does amazing historic reproductions of clothes. And she has a tendency to focus on Victorian and Edwardian clothes. With the suffrage movement taking place mainly in the Victorian era, but the latter part in the Edwardian period, I really wanted some nicer shoes to use, since the two pair of shoes that I have been using are very decidedly 20th century versions of Edwardian lace-up Oxfords. And the heel is very high, it's very far back, so it creates that pressure point on the front of your feet. So if I am wearing them for an extended period of time, it makes it a little bit difficult because it hurts your feet because it's pushing your feet forward. It's pushing you to stand on your tiptoes, which is not where you naturally stand. So your center of balance is off and you're pushing so much weight. And for someone who is on the larger side, that's a lot of weight to be pushing onto my toes and the ball of my foot. So the placement of these, the heel on this is much better. It's much more natural. And I ordered them true to size. I wear an 8.5 most of the time. I wear an 8.5 wide, actually, if I can get it, or a 9 if narrow if I can't get an 8.5 wide. But they did not have a wide size, so I was very pleasantly surprised that the 8.5 fit me very nicely. But if you'd have an extremely wide foot, you might want to go up a half a size. So these are called the Bernadette, and it looks like there's a new pre-order up on their website. And I got them in black and ivory. So this is them, and they're so adorable, and I love them. They are made, I believe, in Portugal. Yes. Handmade in Portugal, and they are lovely leather. They actually give you an extra set of these, so if you walk really far back or you have proration or something like that in your foot and wear down your heel quite a bit, they gave you an extra set of those, so that's really nice. And they give information on how to care for the leather. My dad loves to polish his leather shoes, so if I bring them to him, I'm sure he would love to work on those. But it also tells you how to care for the leather upper, because the leather sole, the sole is leather also, so it tells you how to care for those as well. I am looking forward to the next time I can actually do an in-person event and show off my wonderful shoes. And they sent me a lollipop too, so that's always nice. So once again, I will share links in the descriptions, and you can have a look at any of these things. And we will see you all soon. All right, have a good day.